Hey guys, it is Erin, and tonight I want to talk to you about adaptability, a midlife crisis, and Goldilocks. And here's what they have in common. So, when the first social distancing, shelter in place, quarantine things started happening, I was amazed at how adaptable we are as people. Like, we went from being very social people who like to go out all the time, who enjoyed each other's company, to this hard stop of people who just stayed home and didn't go out. All of us did that. And it's successful. Like, it sucks, but we're doing it and we're doing it well. And so I sit back in awe of like, look at how quickly we can change behaviors when we really need to. So I look at that first. Then I look at my own behavior. When this whole thing first started, I went into super planning, super organized mode, which is weird because that's not me. I'm not a planner and I'm not an organized person, but I was all about it. Like, I sat down with the family and I said, okay, we're stuck in this. We're still going to be as productive and normal as possible. We're not going to let this thing beat us. So I went to the store, I got a poster board and like glitter and scented markers, and I made this whole spreadsheet assigning chores and times people needed to be awake and when they were going to do their homework. And I was ready to go. This was a challenge, an adventure, and I was going to win. Well, that lasted for like a week. When I say lasted, we started off strong and it would dwindle a little bit as days went on. Week two, I still had this schedule in mind. Like, I knew it existed and I would bring it up every once in a while, but didn't really enforce it. Then this week, specifically yesterday, I don't know what happened, but I woke up yesterday and the first thing that came to my head was, fuck it. Like, all of a sudden, I cared about nothing. I sat up in bed, I saw that there were dirty clothes on the floor. That would normally drive me insane, but I was like, who cares? I'm not gonna pick them up. Like, why bother doing laundry? What's the point? And then my son came downstairs and he was like, hey, what's for breakfast? And I went, I don't care, just have whatever you want. He said, can I have ice cream? I'm like, sure. There's drumsticks down in the freezer downstairs. And my daughter comes downstairs and she says, Mom, this assignment we got, I think it's so dumb. And she told me what the assignment was. And I literally told her, I'm like, just don't do it. She goes, what? I cannot do I don't have to do my schoolwork? I said, no, just don't do it. I don't care, Emma. I'm like, they're not even looking at it. Just don't do it. It's dumb. Don't worry about it. And then last night, I'm sitting on the couch. The house is in chaos. There's dirty clothes on the floor, dirty dishes in the sink. We're all in pajamas we've been in for days. And I'm sitting on the couch eating popcorn and Whoppers and drinking soda and watching something dumb on TV. I don't remember what it is. And I remember having the thought of like, I could get used to this. Like, I could do this. I could not work. I could just call the places I owe money to and say, hey, I can't pay my bills. I could just not do dishes. I mean, it's actually nice to not have to yell at my kids to have them do stuff. Like, I could get used to this life. And I had to snap myself out of it because I realized I was in a quarantine midlife crisis. Like, we are halfway through, almost halfway through, hopefully, this thing. And we start to have these crazy thoughts halfway through, just like we do halfway through our life. We go through this midlife crisis where it's like we don't care about the things we used to, and now we care about other things, and we just want these things, and we're looking at the world differently. But we're in this with quarantine, and I lost my mind. I got too comfortable. I had a friend call me today, and he said, you know what, Cubby, I've been watching your videos, and I really like them, but what is up with you? Because you look homeless. And it was such a great point for him to make to me because that is also out of my behavior. That's out of the norm for me. Normally, I try to look at least presentable if I'm on social media or out in the world or wherever. So the fact that I've been sitting in here filming videos with no makeup on the floor in my pajamas, really says a lot about how much of my mind that I have been losing. So in this process and realizing that I'm stuck in this midlife crisis of quarantine, I've had to understand that there is a difference between being comfortable and being complacent. And there is a thin line in between the two. Like being comfortable is being like, okay, I have to be okay with this, but I still want to move forward. Being complacent is saying, you know what, I'm really okay with this and I'm just going to settle in here. I'm just going to be okay with the fact that I'm unproductive and nothing's getting done, and I have just decided that this is going to be my life now. I don't want to be complacent. I want to be comfortable. So I have to find the Goldilocks. I have to find right in the middle where it's like I'm okay doing this, but also big picture I don't want to be. And I'm going to be thinking about today, but I'm also going to be thinking about tomorrow, because there is going to be a tomorrow and a day after that and a day after that. And one of those days is going to be normal. One of those days we're going to get up and go to work, and the kids are going to go to school, and we're going to go to a baseball game, and we're going to go out to dinner, and that day is going to be there. But we have to prep for it now, because I realize that if I become too complacent in this, I'm not going to be ready to go when the world starts again. And in order to make this world successful again, we all have to be raring to go. We have to be ready, both mentally, physically, and economically. Like, we have to be able to hit the ground running. I think all of us are hitting our quarantine midlife crisis right now, where we're just at that tipping point between like, I still kind of care, but also don't really want to anymore. So my advice to you is every day, do something normal. Do something that you would do if this were normal real life again. So for me, and the reason I look a little bit different today, is I woke up this morning and I put on makeup. I didn't have anywhere to go, but I just put on makeup because that's something that I would normally do. I didn't wear a hat because that's not something that I would normally do. Tomorrow, I'm going to get up and make my kids breakfast because that's at a reasonable time, because that's something that I would normally do. So although we want to be comfortable here, we also don't want to fall into that danger zone of complacency. So be okay with being here, but also every day do things that are normal. So when the world gets back to being normal, we can go with it. Until then, enjoy your midlife crisis if you need to have it, but make sure you set yourself up to get out of it. Stay healthy, stay safe, stay home, and most importantly, stay positive.